The Wild Air event last year debuted Gmax Toxtricity, Safari Balls, Mighty Pokemon, and plenty more. And with us coming down to the end of Go Fest season and the fall season right around the corner, today we're going to be going through predictions for the Wild Area 2025 and what to expect from this event. So if you don't know, last year, Wild Area had an in-person event in Fukuoka, November 16th and 17th, and then the global version of the Wild Area, which you could buy a ticket for $12 USD to participate in, went down November 23rd and 24th the weekend after. Most likely November will be around the same time this event happens because it'll be right near the end of the fall season before the winter season of Pokemon Go begins. Now, Wild Area events normally in Pokemon Go will have a theme based on the Gigantamax Pokemon. This is based on last year where we had Toxtricity, which is an electric and poison type Pokemon, and the Hold Wild Area event took a theme of electric and poison. So depending on what Gmax Pokemon they choose for Wild Area this year is going to decide what the theme is. In terms of Gigantamax Pokemon we're currently missing in Pokemon Go, those include Pikachu, Meowth, Eevee, Garbodor, Melmetal, Corviknight, Orbeetle, Dreadnought, Colossal, Flapple, Appleton, Sandaconda, Centiskorch, Hatterene, Grimmsnarl, Alcremie, Copperjaw, and Duraludon. A couple of those we can just knock out, like Alcremie, Copperjaw, Sandaconda, and Pikachu, Eevee, Meowth, Garbodor, and Melmetal, because they're all single type Pokemon, making for a single type theme event. That wouldn't really make a lot of sense. My graphic designer on my team actually thinks Flapple and Appleton are going to be the featured Pokemon, but I actually think that the Urshifu will be the featured Pokemon for the Wild Area this year. Yes, Gmax Urshifu is not in Pokemon Go yet, but there is a Single Strike and a Rapid Strike version. Obviously, we already have regular Urshifu, but Single Strike Urshifu is a fighting and dark type, and Rapid Strike being a fighting and water type. So in my opinion, we could be seeing a fighting, water, and dark themed event for the Wild Area with 3 rotating habitats. Some fighting spawns we could see would include Machop, Mankey, Scraggy, Timber, Stuffle, Phalanx, Crabrawler, Krogunk, and Meditite. Water spawns for Poliwag, Buizel, Horsey, Frillish, Dupitor, Carvana, Ducklet, and Corphish, and dark types for Poochyena, Houndour, Zorua, Sandal, Purloin, Sableye, Pancham, Skunky, Murkrow, and Nickit. It could be a little bit early for Niantic to go ahead and release Shiny Urshifu and Gmax Urshifu into Pokemon Go, since this Pokemon did only come out start of this year, but Toxtricity was a completely new Pokemon and a new Gmax straight up. So I definitely could see them doing this, especially to keep the hype going from Go Fest. Now, if Gmax Appleton and Flapple become the Gmax boss, this will give the event a grass and dragon theme. So we could potentially get a grass habitat spawning Pokemon like Bulbasaur, Seedot, Phantom, Hoppip, Fomantis, Oddish, Fungus, Bounsweet, and Morlo, and a dragon habitat with Pokemon like Dratini, Bagon, Gible, Axew, Trapinch, Shangmo, Noibat, Swablu, Gumi, and potentially Dreepy. A lot of potentials for some cool habitats during this event. Now, no matter what Gmax they decide to choose, that's not all that's going to be going down during Wild Area, because there's other features that will probably be returning. Number one, everybody loved it, but mighty Pokemon that are caught at over level 40 and have an IV floor of 13, 13, 13, meaning these mighty Pokemon had a 1 in 27 chance of being a perfect IV. They also had boosted shiny odds, and plenty of people were leaving the Wild Area with Shundo mighty Pokemon. On top of that, we could be seeing some cool costumes arrive into Pokemon Go. Last year, we got a cool Snorlax with a biker jacket, and who knows what costume they'll come up with this time, but usually the costumes for the Wild Area are pretty good. Safari Balls was also a huge hit during Wild Area that I do hope they return with. Safari Balls gave a huge catch multiplier, making it a lot easier to catch Pokemon, especially useful for those mighty Pokemon because they were pretty tough to catch. These Pokemon could also be very effectively used on Galarian birds, and plenty of people were catching so many Galarian birds during the Wild Area event because Safari Balls were just so broken. And I can't imagine it this year with Iceburn as well. You're probably going to have a guaranteed or almost guaranteed catch rate on a Galarian bird. It's going to be insane. Also, branching research is something we got last year during the Wild Area. I could definitely see that, where you have a choice between the 2 types that Wild Area ends up being, whether that be Urshifu, Appleton, whatever Gmax they decide, the type of the Gmax Pokemon, in which you'll be able to choose a badge for one or the other, which will change a couple things in game. But I'm sure a lot of people are wondering about the raid bosses. Before I talk about the raid bosses, if you do want to participate in the in-person Wild Area event, which could potentially be happening again if it's the same thing as last year in Japan somewhere in November, I'm actually hosting a group trip in November 9th and November 15th. We're going to be in Osaka and Kyoto, exploring those cities, playing Pokemon Go, and doing a bunch of activities like a tea ceremony, visiting shrines, a river cruise, and more. So if you want to come on a group trip and also maybe potentially experience an in-person event if they host it in Japan again this year, hit the first link below and check out the trip and DM me if you have questions. Now, last year we did have the re-release of Palkia and Dialga in the origin forms, and these Pokemon were actually released at the Sinnoh Tour earlier that year. So most likely what we're going to be seeing is the return return of black and white Kyurem during the wild area event. Pokemon GO last year took the main legendary from the Sinnoh tour, then went ahead and released it at the wild area event as a refresher, so most likely they're gonna do that again, but this time with the Unova tour taking black and white Kyurem, those Pokemon will probably be in raids during wild area 2025. On top of that, we were spoiled. We had Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon in Primal raids during the event. So I could potentially see Mega Rayquaza potentially returning as a Mega Boss during this event. A lot of people think maybe that's not going to be exactly true. You know, that is a pretty banging Mega that they might want to feature in their own event, but Mega Rayquaza would be a pretty cool feature, and we haven't seen it in raids in a long time, so this would be a good time to bring it back during an event like the wild area. This also could end up being if we want to do a duo, Mega Latios and Latias, if they want to go ahead and put it in Mega raids as well, but we'll have to wait and see. Special backgrounds will also be something that we'll most likely get. Last year, we did get some cool global special backgrounds, and the in-person events even had cool special backgrounds as well for the Japan Fukuoka event. Finally, if they do go with the Urshifu as the choice, we could potentially seeing an opportunity to get more Cubfoos, potentially even from eggs during the event. It'd be cool if Cubfoo was in 10-kilometer eggs. I say this because last year, Toxtricity was in the Gmax battles, but then Toxel, the baby Pokemon, was hatching from the eggs. Cubfoo is not exactly a baby Pokemon, but could still be following that pattern when you have the basic Pokemon in the eggs and you have the Gmax Pokemon in the max battles. Overall, wild area could be a blast this year, and if you want to experience the in-person one again, remember to hit the link below and join the trip, and I hope to see you in Japan. Watch these other two videos on screen if you enjoyed this one, and comment below your predictions for the wild area 2025. Follow for more tips. Peace.